Welcome back. Now let's take a look at what we have on our local dailies on the front page of the Star newspaper. Ruto sends 100 to oversee transition. Ruto sends 100 to oversee transition. President-elect wants blend of religious, state and military feat. Kenyan to lead main team together with Justin Muturi, Davis Chirchir and Ababu Namwamba. That is what's on the front page of the Star. Kalonzo, Wetangula, Marende, front runners in race for speaker. That is slated for tomorrow. Out of ammo, why Raila may not hang up his boots just yet. Azimio chief Raila Odinga, who is now 77 years old, lost to President-elect William Ruto in his fifth stab that many believe end his political career. But the former Prime Minister, who has been described as an enigma of Kenyan politics, may not retire from active politics just yet. While it may not be clear if he will make the sixth attempt at the country's top seat in the 2027 general election, Raila has hinted at not hanging up his political boots anytime soon. You can also take a look at that story. It's fleshed out there for you on page 8. I'm not looking for a job in Ruto cabinet, says Magoha. Says that he's okay, but people, the CS said that his continued commitment to supervise CBC classroom across the country should not be construed to mean he's angling for the reinstatement of to retain his docket under the Kenya Kwanza administration. And he said anyone can take that to the bank. All right. Rebel, quoted quote, rebel IEBC officials hint at staying put. Supreme Court ruled that the four failed to prove case against their boss. In a joint statement, the four commissioners also said that they appreciate and respect the decision by the Supreme Court to uphold Ruto's victory. And now, excuse me, they said that that is a day after the Supreme Court upheld the 9th presidential election. The four said that they now agree with Chebukati. Interesting turn of events. Ruto win complicates Azimio bid for majority. Kenya Kwanza has fronted Senator Moses Wetangula as for the top seat, that is Speaker. And now, as of Tuesday evening, 7 applicants had picked their nomination papers and are expected to return them by Wednesday. That is this morning, which is the deadline. Given politicians' self-interest, it is believed more MPs are likely to cross the floor to Ruto's side and deny the Raila team the much needed majority. So this is it. Azimio affiliate parties won 165 seats of the 290 constituencies, whereas Ruto's Kenya Kwanza has 160. Legally, this makes the Raila-led coalition party the majority in the House. Now, more than 8 Azimio-affiliated lawmakers, however, have declared their support for the president-elect. Ruto also enjoys the support of 10 out of 12 independent candidates, independent MPs, and will have 5 members nominated by his UDA party. All right. Kenyan vanishes in US after meeting boyfriend online. This is a story which was actually run by CNN, an international media house, and it said that the lady called Gakwa, 32 years old, is the only daughter and the youngest child in a family of 3 children. Gakwa, who at the time of her disappearance in February had been in the US for less than 3 years, was living with her boyfriend at Gillette, Wyoming, without her parents' knowledge. And her father now says that in a recent phone interview with the international media house, that his daughter was supposed to come home for Christmas, but it's now 6 months since they heard from her. So it's also said that the lady's eldest brother noted that she was no longer using a mix of English and Sheng, but rather a natural English like in someone, like as if someone was using Google Translate to send them. So this is a situation. They met at a dating site a platform called Craigslist. Now, Craigslist is an American classified advertisement website with sections devoted to jobs, housing, sales, community service, gigs, and discussion forums. And now, the boyfriend, who called Heitman, is now considered a person of interest in her disappearance. He was arrested in May after he allegedly depleted Gakwa's credit card, changed her banking password, and deleted her email after her disappearance. So since then, she's never been heard of. Ruto sends 100 people to oversee the transition. Very quickly, the National Security Team also began briefing the president-elect yesterday as required by law. And a select team from the military will also go to Karen to do a simulation of the swearing-in. Then, yesterday, Ruto made his recommendations on the presidential standard, quote-unquote, the flag, that he will use. His transition team is designing an elaborate inauguration, blending worship, state, and military protocols, and increasing his representation on the committee. Ruto's team also Ruto's team puts family in charge of Tuesday's swearing in. So it's an interesting moment ahead. And it's a full military honors, pomp and color for Ruto at Kasarani swearing in. Now, very quickly, the event of the day, which include Ruto being accorded full military honors and a sword and the Constitution, will culminate in him occupying State House as the new tenant. And immediately after the swearing in, the national anthem will be played as the presidential standard of Kenyatta is lowered, marking end of his term, while that of Ruto, who succeeds him, is hoisted. The presidential standard is a flag that is used in many countries as a symbol of the head of state. In Kenya, it is designed in consultation by this president-elect and symbolizes power and represents the commander-in-chief. So much about this. You can also take a look at that. Over 20 people apply for National Assembly Speaker, 15 for Senate. Of course, we have got Moses Tangula, Kalonzo Musyoka over there. And finally, why Raila may not exit political scene just yet despite fifth loss. Analysts say that Odinga will be too old to mount serious campaigns in future elections. How will that be 5 years from now? Only God knows. That's as far as the Star is concerned. That's a sneak peek. Jen.
Let's now quickly run through the Daily Nation. The front page is just some of the promises that were made during the campaigning period, and now it is a scramble for the hustler cake, as they caption it here. So politics in Western Rift and the Mountain Bargain for key cabinet position, the hustle has started, and so many of these people are now eyeing some seats that they were promised prior to pledging their support and allegiance to the Kenya Kwanza leader, President-elect Dr. William Ruto. So now they go on to say that he is spoiled for choice as William Ruto embarks on the tumultuous journey of crafting a government that not only has the capacity to push his agenda, but also fulfill the promises that he made to the politicians who backed his campaign and were clever enough to ensure that promises were made during this particular time. So this story has been covered here on page 2 through to page through to page 5 of this particular daily, and they go on to mention so many people that were promised so many positions in government, but I'll just mention a few, starting with ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi. He said he was promised the prime cabinet secretary position in the government of President-elect William Ruto, and to deputize him, Dr. Alfred Mutua actually on the 15th of May said that he was promised the deputy slot under Mudavadi, where he would be mostly focusing on the infrastructural development of the country under the government of William Ruto. Others that were promised different positions in the Ruto government include Wetangula, who was promised the National Assembly Speaker, but as it stands, we know there's so many, but as of yesterday 3 p.m., let me get that particular figure, as of yesterday 3 p.m., where is that? Yes, at least 15 people had picked nomination papers for the Senate Speaker. This is by 3 p.m. yesterday. So for Senate, at least 15 people had picked the nomination papers, but when it comes to the National Assembly, Kenya Kwanza has 2 candidates vying for this Senate Speaker, and Azimio has also 2 that are eyeing the National Assembly seat. So that is in regards to some of the positions that were promised. But also remember, he had promised 50% of his cabinet would be reserved for women, and so far there are a number of women who are... The eye is already out on the president-elect for the fulfillment of his promise on this particular seat. Elsewhere, that is majorly the story that has been covered here on the front page of the Daily Nation. The other story is in regards to Diana Chepkemoi, the young girl that was stuck in Saudi Arabia, her arrival into the country yesterday, a move that has... started quite the conversation on social media. We have been hearing so many cases of this nature of young girls going abroad seeking employment, and for some of them it's never a good experience, but this is just one case where this young lady has actually been rescued and brought back to the country. That story has been captured here, and she continued to say that so many other girls are stuck there, and they told her to speak on their behalf and ask for help in order to bring them back home. So that story has also been captured here on this particular daily. On the back page of the Daily Nation, breakaway officials back Chebukati's statement in regards to IEBC having conducted a free, fair and transparent elections, the just concluded general elections. But in regards to the breakaway, quote-unquote, breakaway commissioners, Chebukati did not say much except, quote, he said that the commission has not chased anyone away. So whether they are still part of the commission or not, that is not something that Chebukati spoke to while giving his statement yesterday. So that is basically what the front page has for you this morning. But before I quickly hand you over to Doreen, one interesting piece here, as the Supreme Court has struck out a petition from 11 activists that were challenging the suitability of President-elect Dr. William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua to hold public office over alleged integrity issues. So the court has found that it has no authority to address these issues that were raised by these activists, and consequently struck off the entire matter. So that is that in regards to the Daily Nation. Doreen.
Very quickly on what the PD is holding for you this Wednesday morning, starting off with matters to do with food security, where parents in Isiolo County are now complaining of the issues prevailing in that particular county in respect to the students being sent at home because of not paying fees that is allied to what is normally used in terms of to cater for their meals and their food. And remember that this has also been occasioned by the 4 years of sort of below average rainfall, not just in Kenya, but this is largely in the whole of Africa, talking about Kenya, Ethiopia, as well as Somalia. We have also seen international bodies just coming in to see how best they can salvage the situation in the country. Also, the state has equally tried to just see how they can bridge that, and this has been done oftentimes, at least since the beginning of this year, by cash transfers and food reliefs in most of these affected areas. And also just much of what we've talked about as of tomorrow, that is the battle moving to Parliament in respect to who will be the next speaker, and just going by what the PD has captured, in fact, this is the main read on the People Daily this morning, is that will it be Wetangula or Kalonzo? And this is after that gazettement by the president immediately after the Supreme Court's verdict, whereby, tomorrow there'll just basically be three businesses in the House. That would be the swearing in of those legislators, election of the speakers, as well as the election of deputy speaker. Now, you might clearly just be wondering, why is this a contentious position? And this is because it is the third most powerful position in the executive after the president and the deputy president, and then the speaker of the National Assembly. Also key to note is that the 2/3 majority threshold will also be looked out in respect to this election process, because, for example, the National Assembly, which has 349 members, inclusive of elected members, 290, 47 women representatives, and the 12 nominated, for example, that particular area, when we talk about 2/3, is just basically 233 members voting for whoever will be elected as speaker. And, that is also part of what will be looked at tomorrow. Again, those names have also been put forth in respect to how both camps have floated who will be contesting for those speaker position in both houses. Again, also the clergy now urging Ruto to pursue national unity, and also part of what is coming out in this particular article is the clergy also lauding Kenyans in respect to how they behaved themselves in this elections, ensuring that they kept peace and demonstrated maturity in this election. And now they've just moved to the president-elect, saying that now it is his role to ensure that there's national unity in the country. And lastly, new governors to smoke out ghost workers. So far, we've just been treated to this in some of those counties, key among them being Kisii County, where we've seen Governor Simba Arati, who just, I think just a few days back, where he said that there was a number of ghost workers in that particular county, and he had actually said even for those that are drivers, whereby in the county there's a total of about, 86 or slightly above that vehicles, yet there was 130 or slightly above that worker. So he had said that each and every worker to stand in front of the vehicle they drive. And also this is what we are being treated in various other counties, where these county governors are just, in a bid to ensure that they weed out ghost workers, so to speak. You can say that now we are being treated to county government that is trying to ensure that, whoever is paid is being paid exactly for whatever job they do. Regina.
Now, being the 7th of September, in the next 48 hours, we are likely to be treated to what is termed as a first battle between Ruto and Raila, and we're talking about the House Speaker's race, so to speak. Some that have some key figures in as far as the National Assembly Speaker and Deputy Speaker race figures are concerned include Moses Wetangula, who has been floated for the position of National Assembly by Kenya Kwanza. Just a brief is that Wetangula is a politician and a lawyer and a third-term Bungoma senator. He graduated with a Bachelor of Law degree from the University of Nairobi. Ford Kenya party leader and part of Kenya Kwanza team key figures, and he served as a magistrate. As well as represented soldiers linked to the 1982 coup during his private legal practice. He served as minister under the Kibaki government, deeds to the Raila Odinga camp to align himself with the political formations of Kenya Kwanza in 2022. We have Kalonzo Musyoka, who is also a lawyer and politician, served as Vice President of Kenya in Moi and Kibaki's regime, holds a Bachelor of Law from the University of Nairobi, as well as a postgraduate diploma in business management there. He's the party leader, Wiper Democratic Movement. Then he has held various positions in government, including the Ministry of Home Affairs, Environment, Natural Resources, Foreign Affairs, Education and Human Resource. Served as a special envoy to South Sudan, and he shelved his 2022 presidential bid to support Raila Odinga's presidency. The third in this particular race, National Assembly Speaker / Deputy Speaker, is none other than Gladys Bose-Sholei, who is also leading the transition team for President-elect William Ruto there.
She's a politician and a lawyer, Uasin Gishu woman representative, holds a Master of Business Administration from JKUAT, holds a Masters of Law from the University of Cape Town, South Africa, holds a Bachelor of Laws, University of Nairobi, and a former Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, served as the Deputy Elections Officer in the IEBC, a CEO of the National Council Law Reporting for 9 years. So those are the three names so far for the National Assembly and the Deputy Speaker race figures. Kenya Kwanza there has fronted with Tangula, while Azimio is pushing for an election of Kalonzo for the position of National Assembly Speaker there. Then when you look at the Senate, briefly, we have a Deputy Speaker and Speaker for the Senate. We have Kenneth Marende, Amason Kingi there. We have Hassan Omar there, as well as Stuart Madzayo. Now we're going to be waiting to see which way the axe falls, so to speak, given that numbers are really going to play a key role in regard to who is going to clinch those coveted positions. And an interesting read as we close here. In every election, there are winners and losers, and we have those who suffer critical blows, especially if they lose. In this particular article that has been captured by this particular daily, it has gone further to just elaborate. And it goes with this kicker: Raila's orphans stare at life in political cold. Just to mention but a few, we have Peter Munya, who served as the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Agriculture. We have Jeremiah Kioni there, Amos Kemunya, Lee Kenyan, who lost his bid there for governorship in Nakuru County. So if you want further details in regard to exactly what the outcome of the election has been to some political bigwigs, well, you can get a copy. I'm Regina Manyara, and we bring this to a close. Just leave you with a conversation that is going to be carried on by my colleague. Have a pleasant viewing ahead.